Apologize. Sorry about that.
We're all good. All right.
Good
So how can I help
afternoon.
you?
Yeah, so I've been in I started this business in 2021, started as labor only, and I'm trying to scale up. I've started doing some investing, and I'm having a trouble, with consistent moves like every day, and the labor only is causing problems for payroll. The guys are complaining about travel times and things like that, and I'm just kind of lost. I want to know what I need to do to get to the next level.
All right. Do you own a truck?
No, I don't. I'm renting U-Hauls.
Okay. And you are licensed and insured currently?
No, not yet. Having trouble finding insurance without a truck.
Okay. Did you grab a copy of Who Sells Moving Insurance?
Yes, I did. I
Okay.
bought it a couple years back. I probably need to take another glance at it at this point.
Yes, there's a whole tutorial in the back of that book that teaches you how to get licenses even without having your own truck.
Right.
So,
Yep. I remember in the book you said to rent a truck and then hold on to it for a certain amount of time. And
yep, yep. There's that. There's a couple other methods too, but yeah, absolutely. Do you own a pickup truck or a van?
no, no,
Okay.
just kind of use my personal vehicles. I have like a minivan. My wife has a minivan, and we use that. And then I hire guys with cars, and they take their car with the crew and the equipment to the jobs on labor only.
Okay. Well, you can use your minivan for a legitimate vehicle. So
Okay.
you could use the minivan, put the minivan under your business name, and then you can use that van legitimately as a moving vehicle or a fleet vehicle. And you can get moving insurance with that vehicle.
Huh. Okay. Got it.
So the fact that you've owned it for a certain amount of time, you've been in business for a certain amount of time, I'm assuming you have you have some good credit.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, then using those vehicles, as long as you got a valid LLC and an EIN number, you could, and you got good credit, you should fairly easy be able to get moving insurance for one vehicle, which is your minivan. Okay.
Okay.
Um, there's a lot of companies. If you got the Who Sells Moving Insurance book, there's a bunch of companies in there that you can start contacting and start talking to them about it. And there's also some strategies that you can use if they decide to not approve you, right?
Got
But so there's definitely some strategies in there. Um, but you're going to want to get once you got insurance, you're going to want to go get licensed. Um, and then what state are you in?
Ohio.
Okay, yeah, it's fairly easy. If you go to the Ohio Movers Association, they'll help walk you through getting licensed and insured.
Okay.
And if you got a valid LLC with an EIN number, what you need to start doing if you want to scale and scale properly, is you want to start building business credit. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to have to start off. If you got good credit, that puts you ahead of the game, but you're going to need to get several trade lines, credit cards, or credit services under your business LLC, right? I am not,
Got it.
I'm not the foremost expert in that, but like you can find somebody online that can help you do that fairly easily. But that will help you scale so that you can get trucks and payroll and all that good stuff, right?
Okay.
How much do you pay your guys for labor only services?
$20 an hour. And that's when they drive. For example, Ann Arbor is about an hour away from us. I don't pay for that travel time just when they get to the job, and then that's it. If it's an hour and a half away, I compensate for the half an hour. And I've been having trouble with that. I understand they want to get paid for their travel time. So,
Well, that tells me you need to increase your prices because you're not making enough profit to be able to make it. So if you're in Ann Arbor, you're going to Ann Arbor, so that you're in Toledo area.
yes.
Okay, because I'm about an hour away from Ann Arbor, but I'm in Lansing. So
Okay.
I'm in Lansing, Michigan. Um, so that tells me you need to raise your prices. How much are your prices per hour?
Well, I'm moving help. They're 139.99 an hour for 2 men, 159.99 for 3 men. And
And you're using Moving Helper?
I'm using moving helper, SML, hire helper,
Okay.
iMoving,
Yeah. How many reviews do you have on Moving Helper?
97.
Okay. Yeah. You need to raise your prices. You should be a minimum of 300 bucks.
Okay. Yeah, because I did that last summer. I raised to 300 and I didn't get hardly any calls. You know, everybody else is pretty low. I agree with you. I want to raise it. It's just yeah,
I mean, we got
300.
we got we got a company right here in Lansing that's charging 400 and they're getting plenty of work.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's for 2 men, 300 for 2 men?
Yeah. 400 for 2 men.
Oh, okay. In Lansing, yeah. Got it.
Toledo's much bigger than Lansing,
Huh.
right?
I'll
But
take
they're
your advice. I'll try it again. I have nothing
right.
to lose.
I'm not saying you have to go to 400. I'm just saying you got to raise your prices. You should probably be going up to around two, a minimum of 250, 300 ideally,
Okay.
right? This is why, and then you need to start paying your guys for travel time. If you're paying them
Absolutely.
$20 an hour, fine, I get it, but then you got to pay them for their complete travel time, right? One thing you could do is raise their, or if you don't want to pay travel time, increase their pay rate to like $30 an hour,
Okay.
right? So that it's worthwhile for them to do that. Because if I worked for you and you didn't pay me for, and I had to travel, especially if I had to use my vehicle, I wouldn't do it. It's just,
Right. Yeah, the driver, he makes a driver bonus. I throw him extra 40 bucks for an hour trip. But other guys, they're just sitting there and they don't get paid. And I understand.
yeah, I wouldn't do it. So I mean, that's a simple fix, right? I would still give
Right.
a bonus for a driving bonus. The way you get around that is you go get a couple of cargo vans, cheap cargo vans that you could pay like 5 grand for each, right? Stock it up with all the dollies and blankets and tools and everything inside the cargo van, right? And then make them drive that vehicle. Not only that, if you did that method, you could get it wrapped up for a few $1,000s, $2,000, $3,000. You can get it wrapped up with your name, phone number, website, QR code, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So it's a rolling billboard for you. Okay.
Okay.
Um, from there, what you need to start doing is you need to start doing your own marketing and start getting your own leads because moving helper, hire a helper, SML, Elite Moving, all these guys that are doing these third party labor only gig places, they take 15-20%, right? Hire a helper, don't they take like $100 until you get like 100 thing or something like that?
Here, they take 30%.
30%, yeah. Okay, so they take 30% right off the bat. So if you charged $300, right, that means they're going to take $100 out of you, right?
Yeah.
So that gives you $200, and you're charging 139. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
your profit then is going to be from a $60 profit. You just increased your gross profit by $60 if you went up to $300. See how that worked?
Yeah. Yes.
Now you're making money. Now can put money aside. Um, you can start putting the money aside into marketing, SEO. Do you have a website?
Yes. Yep. I just started SEO. I've been using OnQ for a while, but I just got a website. It went live yesterday.
Okay. It's gonna take a while before it gets any kind of steam. You need to start putting a bunch of articles about your services, your city areas that you work in. Like you're gonna need to create city pages for Ann Arbor, Detroit, Farmington Hills, Monroe, Dundee, Toledo, Lima, all those. What is it? Fenton, and Lima, South.
Finley and Lima? Yeah.
Yeah. So you operate in those areas, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so you're going to need to start creating a bunch of city pages for all the cities and subdivision cities, um, around Detroit, around Toledo, um, all the bigger cities like Lima, um, you know, Dundee, Ann Arbor, all those good stuffs, Milan, all those kind of things. And you're going to need to create city pages. And then off the city pages, you're going to want to create a bunch of like articles about why it's good to live in that city and stuff like this. You're talking articles like you're going to want to you not want to blast them out right all at once, but you're going to want like 200, 300, 400 articles on just on why it's good to live in those particular cities, right?
Okay.
And then you also want to narrow it down into neighborhoods. So you do one on Ann Arbor. Okay, what are the particular neighborhoods in Ann Arbor? Right? There's Ypsilanti, there's Saline, and all those different areas, and all the neighborhoods that you want to target in those areas, right? If you're
Right.
doing obviously if you're going to Ann Arbor, you're doing Detroit and stuff. You've got Eastern University there. You've got Michigan. You've got Wayne State in Detroit, in Oakland. Um, you've got Toledo. Toledo has their own university. So you also want to start creating pages around those specific universities, right? And the sports and the amenities and all the college life. So you just want to start creating very useful pages around the cities and neighborhoods and activities within those cities, because then that starts attracting eyeballs. Now you might only get one or two, 5, 10 people that come to those pages a month, right? And out of that thing, you might convert a 10% of them. So if you get 10, you might convert one person that goes to your website. But if you've got 300 pages, each converting one person, that's 300 leads. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Then you want to create pages all around your different services that you provide. Do you provide crating? Do you provide, loading and unloading, of course, packing services, right? All those different stuff, right?
Right.
Um, so you're going to want all the services. You want to create a complete and utter page around your service based on that city, right? So first, you're going to create all the pages about your services. You're going to create a page about packing. You're going to create a page strictly about loading and unloading. You're going to do a page about crating. All the specific exact every service that you provide, you're going to get a page for it, right? Then
Okay.
underneath that, you're going to create those pages for every city and neighborhood for those services. So for instance, you're going to go packing services Toledo, right? Toledo packing services, for instance, all right? Labor only Toledo, loading, unloading Toledo, that kind of thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand.
So when it's all said and done, you're going to have, and I guess I know this could be very overwhelming, but it's over a period of time, 6, 7, 8, even a year before you're got like this huge thing. SEO is not quick, but it's very effective. Um, my website had over 1,000 different pages or posts on it about the service area that I worked in, right? Different city pages, and I had one of my best performing pages was I had a pages of 47 things about Lansing, right? And it had different facts like places that were haunted, different, celebrities and so on and so forth that was in my city, right? Movies that were filmed here and so on and so forth, unique places that to see. And that got picked up by radio stations and TV stations, and people made articles about my article and put a
Okay.
link. So it creates things, and eventually, and that was my best performing website. My best performing page, and from that page, I was able to then, direct them to my moving services, right?
Got it.
Now you don't have to do all this writing. You can hire somebody to write it, but that's going to be very, very, very expensive. What I would do now is I would just go to Chat GPT and have Chat GPT create 1,000 to 2,000 page articles. You want your core article to be about 1,000 to 2,000 words, right? Your subsequent articles can be 500 to 300, 500, up to 1,000 words for each subsequent. And then each subsequent article will then link back to your core article. Okay. That's called siloing, right? Like a grain silo. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so that's how you do SEO. Now, are you doing any door knocking? Are you taking like things like rat cards and postcards and brochures and knocking on everybody's house in your areas, in your key demographics, in all the areas of your thing, and knocking on their doors and saying, "Hi, I see you got a for sale sign in front of your house. Do you have a quote yet?" They either say
Right.
yes or they say no. If they say no, say that's amazing. I'm in the neighborhood right now. If you got a half hour, I'd love to go through your home and give you a quick quote, right? If they say yes, great. You go and you have the materials right on hand, and you go give them an instant quote. If they say no, say no problem. Can I come back at a later time, later this afternoon or tomorrow or whatever, right? And you schedule a time to come back and do a quote, right? Anybody
Okay.
that anybody that posts a moving sale online, right? It's like a yard sale. Oh, we're moving, so we're having a moving sale. Amazing. They just advertise that they're moving, so they probably need moving services. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then you go up and you go to the moving sale and buy something cheap, like some $1, $2, $3 that you want to get, that would, oh, I wouldn't mind that. But once you do it, now it gives you a chance to talk to somebody. Now you've bought something. Now you go, hey, I noticed you're moving. Have you talked to a mover? Are you going to be using a moving company? And then you go from there, right? You want to go to all the luxury apartment complexes and start talking to the building managers, right? All the
Yeah.
self-storage facilities, start talking to the storage facilities. You want to start going to home appraisers, mortgage lenders, real estate agents, and start developing relationships with those people, right? You might want to take them some wine or coffee or donuts or bagels or something. Some cheap, doesn't have to be expensive, but something you want to give something, start creating a relationship with them so that they'll eventually give you something back to you, right? And then you might, if you're going to talk to those people, have like a gift certificate. Hey, here's $50 off, or so on and so forth. And then you're going to start creating your own leads, and you won't have to pay U-Haul or hire helpers, simple moving labor. You know, they're cut. You know what I mean? And now you're keeping more of the money yourself, right?
Right.
Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
Right. Craigslist is good for labor only companies. Still, I wouldn't do it for a full service company, but for moving labor, Craigslist is still fairly good. Stay away from the thumbtacks and the home advisors and stuff. They're just, you sometimes, if you're a good salesperson, great, but they're talking about a gazillion people and the competition's horrible, right?
Right.
I just personally never had good experience with them.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured that with Thumbtack paying for leads and they give it to multiple people and stuff like that. So
Yeah. But if you could do the door knocking method, there's no reason why you, especially in the vicinity area that you're talking about, if you're willing to travel an hour away from your hometown, right, then you've got huge demographic. There's no reason if you start door knocking in all those areas, right, that you couldn't be doing $50,000 a month. Easy, easy, just on labor only services, right? And if you price it right, because you're too low, right? But you're too low. You price it right, you get to keep all that money. So that means you don't have to price at 300. You can price it down to 200, 225, 250, right? And
right.
still be very affordable. Does this make sense?
It makes sense. Um, yeah, because my pricing on OnQ is different than the other thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to match those prices because that's about where it's at on when I'm booking through OnQ directly, So I'm gonna have to match those prices. That makes sense.
If you're not having enough jobs, that means you're doing too much passive marketing, right? And you need to get more
Yeah,
active marketing going
got
until
it.
you've built up a machine or hired somebody to go do it for you.
Okay.
It's just the way it is. In the stage that you're in, if you want to take it to the next level, you got to start getting out there and be more active. If the guys don't have a job, let's say if they don't have a job today, grab two of your guys and have them come out with you. You'll go into a neighborhood. You say, you go take that street, I'll take this street, and you take that street. Start passing out these flyers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, there's a thing called 5-arounds. When you go into somebody's home or you go to somebody's apartment, we'll take the house. You go into somebody's house to do a move, right? You drive up. Obviously, your car, first of all, your car's not wrapped. That should be what you should get somehow. Take your minivan and go get it wrapped. It might piss off your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, but this is what you need to do. You need to get it wrapped, right? And you drive
Okay.
up and your car's wrapped. You've got a mobile billboard, right? Now what you're going to do is you do the job you're doing the job at where you're at, and then you're going to go to the house next on each side of that house, and then the houses in front, the 3 houses in front of that house. It's called the 5-around. So you're doing 5 homes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to go and say, hey, we just did a move for your neighbor over here. I don't know if you're moving or planning on moving or know somebody that is moving, but if you do, here's our brochure. I would love you to to use us if you're going to use us, or if you know somebody that's going to be moving, recommend us, please. Right? And if you see my rat card has a discount, put things on it, right? So you can say, hey, there you go. And they might say, no, we don't need it. Okay, fine. But basically now what you're doing is you're doing a real active campaign. Now, and if the houses next to them or in front of them have a for sale sign on it, rock on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Now, is OnQ keeping a record of all the emails, phone numbers, and everything for you that you can download?
Yes.
All right. You should start creating what's called a newsletter, right? And you want to get an email subscription service on your website or through a third party like Active Campaign, Aweber, something like that, ConvertKit, and you want to send an email once a month to everybody that's used your services, So you're going to send out two newsletters, one to everybody that's used you and one that has not used you, right? You're
Okay.
paying a lot of money to get those leads. It's stupid not to continue a relationship with them because they might not, especially the people who haven't used you. If they haven't used you, well, they might use you a year from now when they move into their new home, especially people in apartments. Because apartments, every 1 to 2 years, right? There's a new lease, and most people after a year, they're typically moving on to the next. If not that
Right.
first year, it's the second year. So if you're creating a relationship with them every month, sending them a thing with good, useful tips about how decoration tips, good recipes, things like that, but also good news about your company and success stories, right?
Right.
So just keep a thing. You really want to make it. What would be used? Just sit down for a minute and go, what would be, if I'm in an apartment, what would I like to know that would make my life better? Right? Think from the customer's viewpoint. What would make my life feel better? Okay. What would make my life better? How to use AI to automate their house so that they're more thing, or how to clean their home better with better solutions that doesn't poison them. Great recipes that they can cook in 30 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know what I mean? Just get
Yeah.
creative. Just go to like your supermarket and grab all those home magazines, right? And look
Okay.
at the articles on the front cover and then create articles into your newsletter about those subjects, right? Those guys are the best marketers in the world. They have to sell literally millions of magazines and they're doing your work for you. So if it says the 10 best places to visit in, the best 10 um, tropical destinations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then awesome. Great. Then you create an article in the newsletter about that same thing, right? Because that's something they want to know. And then obviously some news and stuff about your business, right? Some success stories and stuff like that. Okay.
Right.
But right now you need to raise your prices. You can raise the prices as much as you want. I'm just giving you what I would do.
Right.
You might want to just go up to $200, right? But you got to raise your prices.
Okay.
Okay. And two, you got to start being more active. The door knocking campaign is my biggest thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of work, but in the end, it's gonna pay off, right? I guarantee
Right.
you. I guarantee in 30 days, if you talk to 1,000 people or more, knock down 1,000 doors or more, you would have booked out $30,000 to $50,000 in jobs for what that month alone.
Right.
Guarantee it. I'm sure that to you would be a big thing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now, of course, during the winter time, it's going to get a little slower. I can't promise you 30,000, but between now and the end of September, it's still doable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could definitely use that.
Right.
So perfect.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
Um, no. Have you ever heard of those campaigns where people like get advertising in like the magazines and move-in packets at like apartment buildings and stuff like that?
Yeah, they don't work, and they're over expensive, and they don't work.
Okay.
It's best to go do it yourself.
Right, right. Yeah. So the door-to-door campaign raised prices. And yeah. Okay. So any recommendations on where to find good help, good employees?
Oh, that's the $1,000,000 question.
Yeah.
There is a guy called Move Up Consulting or something like that.
Yep,
Um,
I'm familiar.
yeah, he does a good job. He I would check with him, see what he can do for you. You
Okay.
froze. You still there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're froze. Your picture
Okay.
froze. You're
Wi-Fi
buffering.
must.
There it goes. Anyway, yeah, check out with him. Other than that, it's I would stay away from Craigslist, but Facebook, Indeed, you know, and you got to really know what you're looking for too. So, and
Okay,
sorry about that.
no
Zoom
problem.
kicked me out. I apologize. How you doing? You still there?
I'm good. I'm here. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
good. As I was saying, I would, Indeed stuff, but really know what you're looking for in an employee. Really map it out. Really define what you're looking for, because you don't want to hire just somebody that has a pulse and can fog up a mirror.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just going to lead you to disaster. I mean, you might want to do that right now if you don't have employees, just get somebody to work with, but then start hiring better people to replace them with.
Right. Right. And that's kind of where I'm at now, just looking for quality help. I have some people, and I'm grateful for the guys I have, but I want more experience. So
Yeah. But that also comes down to you training them correctly too, right? It's
yeah,
really good to go, and I would get a third party like Winston at the Move Up Consulting or whatever it is,
yeah,
and start talking to him because he could get you good guys. He knows how to do it and where to get them and so on and so forth. And he could probably even get you a good salesperson so you can start selling services like right now, like hundreds, if not millions of dollars a year annually.
Do you know anything about OnQ Booking? I just started with them about 2 weeks ago. Um,
Did you go through my link?
no,
Damn it.
you have a link?
I did. It's too late now.
Oh man, yeah, they're charging like $600 a month.
It's worth it though. It's
Yeah,
worth it. I mean, if you think about it, if you were to pay a salesperson, it would cost you as much or more for commissions.
right.
So it's actually
Okay,
worth it. It might sound expensive, but think about if you were to hire that person, have to train that person and run that person, and all the plus what you have to pay that person in benefits, et cetera, et cetera. It's the price when you actually add it all up, you're going to pay as much or more for if you were to do it in-house. So it's definitely worth
got
it.
you. Okay.
All right, so our time is coming in to an end. You got anything last you want to ask about?
No, I think you gave me plenty. I'm gonna start doing all this stuff and get these results.
Excellent. Well, then I'm going to leave you here. If you want to talk again, feel free to do so. And I wish you the best of luck.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, and same to you.
All right, bye-bye.